In 1977, it began. Now, over 4 decades later, it still thrives. A competition whose mere title is humbling, daunting, formidable.
The world's strongest man.
The world's strongest man.
A new champion has been crowned. This year's competition will once again crown the strongman worthy of the accolade. The one that will stand apart from the rest after a series of the toughest tests of strength in the sport. Challenges that will prove relentless, backbreaking, taxing, and sometimes punishing. All for the honor to be named the world's strongest. Welcome to the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Manatee County, Florida, where sunshine and picturesque beaches converge with a vibrant downtown and one of the country's most scenic recreational parks. Brent Stover alongside former NFL first-round draft pick and Super Bowl champion, it's Aaron Taylor, moments away from 5 more strongmen beginning their qualifying round for this year's final.
Brent, this is a tough group of competitors, but one who many feel is perfectly poised to break through is Mateusz Kieliszkowski of Poland. 2 years ago, he had his coming-of-age moment with his impressive performance in the plane pull. And last year, he was the runner-up to the champion, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
That said, Mateusz will have some stiff competition in his group, including the 36-year-old from Great Britain, Laurence Shahlaei. Shahlaei competing in his final World's Strongest Man and now takes one last shot at the title. Let's hear more from Laurence, Mateusz, and the rest of the group in our Tachi Power Profiles.
Ole Martin Kristiansen, Norway. Couldn't be more excited. Like, it's the biggest thing in my life. Got the invitation 10 days ago, so I didn't really have time to prep for it or anything. I'm proud to be Norwegian. I feel like strongman is in our blood from the Viking ages. I've always wanted to be Norway's strongest man. Being a world's strongest man feels possible now. Not too cocky. Okay.
Mateusz Kieliszkowski, Poland. I'm nervous, little bit, like always. This year is big pressure for me. I got married to Alexandra 1 month ago. And now she's 7 months pregnant. I don't know, maybe I'm not ready to be father, but I must be ready. This time it will be harder. She always prepare for me. She know about my competition more than me. Now I must do alone. I try to be not nervous, but it's stronger than my head and my body, and I'm nervous.
Kevin Ferris, USA. All through high school, I've tried the whole MMA thing. I just didn't have that passion for it. It's fun to punch people in the face, but it's not fun to get punched in the face. I've always been strong, and I've always had that drive to get stronger. It's not like any other sport. The factor of you against others is there, but ultimately it's you against the weight. I got myself here, and I'm gonna push myself to the limit.
JF Caron, Canada. It's my 9th World's Strongest Man appearance, and it will be my 7th final if I get it this year.
Yes! Number 1.
In the past, I compete a lot, but now I start to be older, and I get injured this year. I tore both hamstrings. Now I'm full recover. If you want to be really good, you have to compete a lot. But now the weights are heavier. It's maybe not possible for me to compete 20 times a year like in the past. But I did it, and I'm still alive, you know?
Laurence Shahlaei, Great Britain. Unfortunately, I've had a fair few injuries. If you love something, you keep getting up. I've won pretty much every major show there is to win in strongman, except for World's Strongest Man. I've beaten every single strongman there is to beat. I hold world records on certain events. The ultimate goal for me now is to get up on the podium, and I think that would be like a perfect way for me to finish strongman.
What an impressive group of athletes, definitely going to make for a great competition. We are here in downtown Bradenton, where we kick it off with the group's first event, the Monster Jam Truck Pull.
Brent, this one's going to be a killer and a very aptly named Gravedigger Monster Jam truck we're looking at there. They got to pull the pair, which weigh 25,000 pounds combined. down the 22-meter course with a time limit of 75 seconds.
Representing Norway,
Up first, the Norwegian, Ole Martin Kristiansen, 27 years of age, 6'3", 309. A gym owner and a telecommunications technician. His first time competing at World's Strongest Man.
A little bit of a shaky start. Had a double strain there, has got some momentum going. Said that 2 trucks pulling these in succession was going to be new for him. Got a very horizontal back there, almost too much of a forward lean. He's going to have to keep his balance.
Really fighting it right now as he passes the 10-meter mark. Again, the course is 22, so about halfway there and really fighting.
Starting to gas out. Started training at 15 years old because he was getting bullied and said that weightlifting changed his life. Looks like that 25,000 pounds of Monster Jam trucks is changing his life as well.
He's about at the end of the line, continuing to battle in his first trip to this competition and checks out.
15 seconds.
We've still got 15 seconds to work.
10 seconds, come on.
You hear that 10 seconds, come on. That's the voice of Magnus Verd Magnusson, a World's Strongest Man legend. Now the head referee trying to give Kristiansen some encouragement, but he's had enough.
Put your hands together for Ole Martin Kristiansen.
And Kristiansen's determination was there, but the necessary horsepower was not. Proves that even human tow trucks can break down every once in a while. Great effort, though.
17.80 meters for him. Up next is Mateusz Kieliszkowski, representing Poland, the 25-year-old, 6'5", 331 pounds.
I expect him to dominate here. The truck pull is one of his best events. In fact, he won the bus pull a year ago in the Philippines, just edging out eventual champion Hathor Julius Bjornsson.
For Kieliszkowski, this is his 4th appearance at World's Strongest Man. He's made the final every time he's competed here, including standing on the podium, getting 2nd place last year.
He's swerving a little bit, but he is moving at a blistering pace down this course. Had a beautifully executed start, timed it perfectly, and he's kept that momentum going as he approaches the finish line.
Mateusz Kieliszkowski blistering the 22-meter course.
Man, this is just a great peek inside what it takes to move 25,000 pounds of monster trucks, tree trunk legs, powerful arms in smooth unison.
38.63 seconds. That will be the new time to beat. As we check in with Jenny Dell.
After the break, one of the most impressive feats of strength and endurance. 2 of our strongmen have already competed, but has Gravedigger met its match? Who will bury the competition? I mean, it's only 25,000 pounds, right? The Monster Jam truck pull continues next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
The 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. And by Rogue. Don't weaken.
Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man in downtown Bradenton, where Group 4 continues their first event, the Monster Jam Truck Pull. 2 athletes have already competed. Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski, the current leader, has set the time to beat at 38.63 seconds, and 3 athletes remain. Kevin Ferris, representing the United States. 29-year-old, lives in Provo, Utah. Stands at 6'2", weighs in at 270 in air, and he is a rookie here at World's Strongest Man.
He's also the lightest competitor of the 25 here. Take a look at his legs. He's long and lean. 270 pounds puts him at a distinct disadvantage trying to pull so much weight.
Ferris works in construction back home, installing fire suppression systems.
Seems to almost be accelerating here, Brent. But remember, this just isn't about strength. It's also about endurance. Can he keep this pace up? If he can, he's going to finish extremely strongly.
Time to beat 38.63, set by Kieliszkowski.
One of 3 lefties here out of the field at 25 for those keeping track at home.
The other 2 being Hafthor Julius Bjornsson and Tom Stoltman.
But I don't care whether you're right-hand dominant or left-hand dominant. Those trucks don't care. But you got to give credit to Ferris, man. He is not giving up. He's going to get these things across the finish line, even if it kills him.
An impressive start for the American rookie, finishing the course in 55.66. And that puts him into 2nd place, and he seems awfully pleased with that result.
How could you not be? You're making your first appearance in your debut, and you get 25,000 pounds of trucks over. Even though he was slipping and lost his balance at time, he stayed focused and got her done.
J.F. Caron of Canada, the veteran at 36 years of age. 6'3", 345, lives in Quebec City.
Ready?
It's worth mentioning, these crowds have been fantastic, and the support, you can't measure how much it energizes these guys, regardless of what country you're from.
No doubt, Brent. And I love JF. Listen to him grunt. He's so balanced between his upper and lower body strength. He's done so well over the years. I think pound for pound, he's one of the strongest competitors and doesn't get near the credit he deserves.
Trying to get to his 7th World's Strongest Man final in this, his 9th appearance.
You can hear how punishing this event is.
J.F. Caron, the Canadian, has finished 5th at World's Strongest Man each of the last 3 years. Beginning the qualifying round in the Monster Jam truck pull and trying to get those 2 big trucks across the line. And just beats out the American Ferris with a time of 54.62, moving him into 2nd place.
Caron is famous for saying if you want to get in a strongman, you better like the pain. He's dealt with back and groin injuries throughout the years, but this time it was him that was giving the punishment with those big old biceps.
Brings up Laurence Shahlaei, representing Great Britain, a 36-year-old who lives in England. He's 6'2", 353. His 11th time at World's Strongest Man, trying to get to the final for the 6th time.
And Shahlei's been pretty clear about the fact that this was going to be his last ever appearance. He's 36 years old, born on Christmas Day way back in 1982, and he's looking like an animal here early.
Again, the time to beat set by Kieliszkowski, 38.63. Grinding his way to the finish, the short, choppy steps.
He's all heart, man. I love watching this guy do what he does. No quit at all. 36, trying to get it done, everything he's got.
Incredible effort for the veteran. And he's been one of the faces of this sport for so long, and he is leaving everything out there in this, his final trip to the World's Strongest Man.
Bravo, Laurence Shahlaei, leaving it all out on the track. 25,000 pounds of Monster Jam trucks, the amount of pain that you have to endure to even attempt this makes it all the more incredible that he's doing it at his age.
Getting medical attention here, was able to pull it 20.10 meters, putting him in 4th.
Well, the physical injuries have been the challenge for him over the years, but he's also had some battles with depression, which he's been extremely resilient and courageous, not only dealing with, but talking about them as well. But here's our champion, the young Pole, Kieliszkowski.
He wins event 1, the Monster Jam truck pull. Congratulations to Kieliszkowski. J.F. Caron manages 2nd with a time of 54.62. The rookie from America right behind him in 3rd. Shahlaei and Kristiansen unable to complete the task. Here's Jenny Dell with the winner.
Last year, you came in 2nd in the World's Strongest Man. What's your goal this year?
Firstly, my goal is go to final. I always respect every athlete, so we don't know what can happen. But my goal now is go to final and then fight.
How key was it to come in here and have a moving event, one of your strongest event as your first event out there?
Oh, I like this event, track pull. I always win this since 2 or 3 years, and but I never tried this 2 monster trucks. It was really, really heavy. I feel like I almost die in last meters.
We're glad you didn't. Great job in event 1.
Thank you.
Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski destroyed the Monster Jam truck pull and put everybody on notice that he's here to win. But no one is backing down from his standout performance. Group 4 takes on the Giants Medley next on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Welcome back to downtown Bradenton, where the athletes of Group 4 will take on their second event, the Giants Medley.
A medley indeed, Brent, as our strongmen will take on 3 objects. One's going to be a farmer's walk with a pair of logs weighing 660 pounds combined, and the other going to be 2 super yokes, with the biggest being 1,325 pounds.
One athlete has already competed. That's Ole Martin Kristiansen of Norway. He was able to quickly push through the 660-pound farmer's walk like a walk in the park. Then the 995-pound yoke took care of that as well. Bit of a bobble on the 1,325-pound super yoke, but it did not stop him. He managed to complete the 21-meter course in a time of 107.90. And he is loving the crowds here in Bradenton. Next up, the rookie from the United States, Kevin Ferris, here in the Giants Medley, and he goes opposite Laurence Shahlaei, the veteran from Great Britain. 11 times at World's Strongest Man for that man. Both guys are 6'2", but Shahlaei has about 80 pounds on the rookie.
This event really doesn't even start until the 1,325-pound super yoke. Most guys have been breezing right through here.
Shahlei's got the lead. Ferris struggling. Shahlaei onto the final apparatus.
Looking good, and this is where his experience can really come to help him out. Oh!
And he goes down. Remember, he went down in a heap at the end of the first event and now down during event 2, and immediate medical attention for Laurence Shahlaei. Ferris trying to get that third apparatus just off the line. Still fighting it, he's able to cross. But the bigger story here is the health of Shahlaei.
Man, that didn't look good. It looked sudden. The medics rushed in. His wife, Liz, was right there. What a competitor.
Crowd giving him a hand, including Ferris, who now sets the time to beat. He'll be the leader in 39.89.
Representing the United States, Kevin Ferris.
Hey, not a bad run for the Rook. He muscled his way through that 1,325-pound super yoke. It's not just about leg strength, it's also about stability, and Ferris had what it took.
So the USA's Kevin Ferris showed that he's here to win. Kieliszkowski and Caron plan to win as well. Only 2, though, can make the final. The Giants Medley comes to its conclusion when we come back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, where the athletes of Group 4 will continue their second event, the Giants Medley. 3 athletes have already competed. Kevin Ferris with an impressive showing. He's the current leader, setting the mark at 39.89 seconds. Kristiansen currently in second. Shahlaei, a possible injury, was unable to complete the course. Here's Canadian J.F. Caron. And he matches up with Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski.
Kieliszkowski proclaims to be one of the fastest in the world at this event. Really likes the super yoke and the ability to be able to move. This is going to be a good head-to-head competition.
Kieliszkowski bested Caron in the first event. They are neck and neck on to the second apparatus.
Kieliszkowski making that transition to the second apparatus a little bit more quickly than Caron.
1,325 pound super yoke. He made it look easy.
He didn't drop it, Brent. He may be the first competitor we've seen that did not drop the 1,300 plus pound super yoke We know how strong Caron is, and he's struggling, giving all he can to just get that thing across the line.
And Caron gets it across, barely edging out Kevin Ferris for second place at a time of 39.69. But the winner here in the Giants medley, in group number 4, is Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski in a blistering time, crazy time of 18.89.
He said he was one of the fastest in the world in the super yoke, and he just may be right. Look at that. A great look at just how important the stabilizing muscles like the hip flexors are when you're carrying that weight.
So Kieliszkowski with his second event win in 18.89. Caron finishes second again in 39.69. Ferris takes third. That keeps Kieliszkowski in first place with 10 points. Caron is 2 points behind in second, and for Laurence Shahlaei, he said this would be his final trip ever to World's Strongest Man, not the way he wanted to go out. Has to withdraw with a ruptured Achilles tendon in his left foot. Next time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, Poland's Kieliszkowski's 2-point lead over Canada's JF Caron is slim, but nonetheless, it's a lead. Will it be enough? Find out who gets the automatic final entry from Group 4 and who has to face off in the last man standing. Last time on the World's Strongest Man, 5 of the strongest men on the planet began their qualifying round for this year's final. One of them, a young man with great promise and big dreams.
He always seems to compete above his weight class.
Last year, Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski got a taste of what it would mean to be a World's Strongest Man champion as he stood on the podium holding his trophy for finishing second. Now, Kieliszkowski returns stronger and hungrier with just one objective: to stand one step higher on that podium. His journey to this year's final continues next. Welcome to the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. The pristine and heavenly barrier islands of Anna Maria Island and Longboat Key, where cozy beachfront cottages, intimate resorts, and quaint villages dot the landscape and set the scene for this year's Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Brent Stover alongside former two-time All-American and Super Bowl champion, it's Aaron Taylor. One of the big storylines in this group and in this entire competition coming in this year was Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski.
Well, yeah, last year, just 24 years old, he was the runner-up at World's Strongest Man, and he's off to another really hot start here. He dominated the Monster Jam truck pull and did the same in the Giants medley event with super fast times in both.
Another guy in this group to watch is Canadian JF Caron. He's a World's Strongest Man veteran looking for his 6th consecutive trip into the World's Strongest Man final, and also American Kevin Ferris. He's trying to get to that final in this his first ever trip to this competition. He's off to a hot start as well. The group's competition continues over at Coquina Beach, where they will take on their third event, the Monster Jam Speedster Deadlifts. 2 events in the books. Here are the standings so far. Kieliszkowski leads away with 10 points. The leader after 4 events and the last man standing winner will qualify for the final.
Brent, this next event is a brutal one. It's a deadlift where our athletes will be asked to lift 2 Monster Jam speedsters weighing a combined 825 pounds. The most reps in 60 seconds wins.
Norway.
Ole Martin Kristiansen of Norway.
Kristiansen.
His first World's Strongest Man appearance. He was a late add to the field. In fact, he was invited with less than 2 weeks before the start of the competition.
The Norwegian's only 27 years old, so he's got youth on his side. But when you're pulling that much weight from the ground, this can test you no matter how old you are.
He was the 2018 Norway's strongest man.
Brent, this is one of the benchmarks for overall strength. It's a hip-dominant exercise. You use your entire body to lift this massive load from the ground. You see Kristiansen trying to get a gauge of where he's at and catch his breath, because this weight is just punishing.
cartoonish-looking event, trying to get that 4th rep. You can see it in his face, unable to lock it out. And that's it. Kristiansen taps out, 3 reps. And a well-deserved ovation from this crowd here in Bradenton.
3 reps, representing Norway.
Well, for the young pup, he's got to feel pretty good about that. His heart and will and determination were all there, but the strength just simply was not. After he set that bar down, it was really hard for him to lock out that 4th rep.
All right, so Kevin Ferris, who is 3rd in the group currently, enters this event with 6 points. Lives in Provo, Utah. The American. We'll see what kind of number he can put up. And the number to beat is 3.
Looking pretty good through his first couple reps. Look at those quads right there, Brent. This guy looks like Quadzilla. He's only 270 pounds, the lightest competitor here, but he's already repped out 4 pretty quick, nice-looking reps.
First appearance here at World's Strongest Man for the American Ferris, who goes into the lead, now trying to cushion that advantage a little bit. He's got 5.
Nice, tight, compact base. Leaning back into that bar, muscles through and pulls another for 6 total so far. He's looking pretty good.
This crowd obviously partial towards the Americans, and so Ferris getting a lot of support behind him. And that'll be it for Kevin Ferris with 6.
See that little fist pump there, Brent? He's feeling pretty good, and he should. 6 reps as a rookie, not bad. He had great form all the way through. This was his 6th and final rep, and you can see he gets it up over his knees, and then he leans back into the bar, taking advantage of the fulcrum, and powers that final rep out.
From a World's Strongest Man rookie to a veteran, J.F. Caron of Canada. And his best event is the deadlift, and he loves this event with good reason.
He's so powerful, man. I would expect him to put on a show here.
It's all about body type. He says it just comes naturally to him, and you can see that right off the bat as he rips off 3 right away.
No doubt. You also notice he's wearing long pants and in his socks. Feels that gives him an advantage keeping his lower body warm, but he can feel the ground with his feet and gets him closer to the bar, making it easier to lift it up to his quads as he taps out at 7 with much, much more in the tank to go. That was impressive.
He knew what he needed, and he got it with 7 reps. And Kieliszkowski is still to come, Aaron, but Caron confident that Kieliszkowski can't beat that number.
The deadlift isn't one of Kieliszkowski's best events, and this is just an example of how strategic these guys are, knowing their other competitors. But you look at that form there. You could have put another speedster on top of there, and Caron would have been able to lock it out.
So here's Kieliszkowski, who has admitted to us many times, including this week again, that this is his worst event. We'll see how the 25-year-old from Poland is able to contend with these Monster Jam speedsters.
Kieliszkowski's been one of those guys throughout the years I've been impressed by. He's got tremendous potential in this sport, but he has got to find a way to get better in this classic test of strength if he wants to make some noise, getting himself to the final and eventually becoming a champion.
He's the youngest and the tallest in this group, trying to get to the World's Strongest Man final for the 4th time.
You see him there trying to compose himself. His muscles are on fire right now. So much pain these guys are willing to endure to be successful. And remember, he's got to beat 7 reps, and that 5th one really put it on him. He's going to have to dig deep here for this 6th one. He's going to tap out there. You can see at that last and final rep, he kind of winched it up his quads. But that's an improvement for Kieliszkowski. You can tell he's been working on this, but not enough to get him into that coveted first place spot.
So Kieliszkowski with that effort, it ties him for 2nd. But the winner of the deadlift is J.F. Caron, and he's standing by with Jenny Dell.
JF, you said in order to like World's Strongest Man, you need to like pain. Now, you've had some pain this year. Tell me about your injuries.
Yeah, I was not so lucky this year. I injured both of my hamstring. The left one in January in training and the right one in Columbus, Ohio. But now I'm almost full recover. And Mateusz, unfortunately, is the worst event for him. That's why I stop at 7. I'm happy to win that.
So if you get to that point where you are fighting on the stones, or you are in first place and you do go on to the finals, what's your goal this year?
You know, in finals, I have really good events this year. I think I may be a chance to get one podium. It's my goal since long time. I came 5th place in the 3 past years, but this year I want to reach the podium for sure.
All right, well, we can't wait to watch it all unfold.
I hope. Thank you.
JF pretty confident there, and he takes first in his favorite event with 7 reps. Ferris and Kieliszkowski tie for second with 6. Ole Martin Kristiansen takes 4th with 3 reps. Kieliszkowski remains in first with 13.5 points. Caron is just behind him after his deadlift win with 13 points. Ferris remains in third. Once again, we check in with Jenny.
Coming up next, the overhead press. We're looking for the most successful lifts of this 220-pound dumbbell. Okay, we'll leave that to the professionals. Which athlete will press his way into the final? Find out next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
Welcome back to Coquina Beach, where the athletes in Group 4 will take on their 4th event, the overhead press.
I love this next one, Brent, because it tests the overhead pressing power of our athletes. They're going to be asked to lift a 220-pound dumbbell off the ground. The most reps and the fastest time wins with a time limit of 75 seconds.
First pairing is Kevin Ferris of the United States. He's in third after 3 events. And he goes opposite the Norwegian Ole Martin Kristiansen. Both of these men, as we documented, making their first trip to the World's Strongest Man.
Pressing power is certainly important here, but so is technique. Balancing that big weight right there at its apex before they go for the lockout is really important, and that comes with experience.
Aaron, you and I talk often in these events where it's 2 men out there at the same time. You aren't directly going against each other. It's the entire group. But certainly you look to your left, to your right, and you see the other guy, and it's got to feed your energy a little bit.
And their energy is going to be tested here because as they start to fatigue, technique becomes all the more important, and Ferris can't get that 4th rep. Kristiansen got credit for his 3rd. Ferris has to use his legs here to start the movement and lock this dumbbell out overhead, but he can't do it again.
Tied at 3 right now. Kristiansen trying to get his 4th. Mustering everything he can to throw it up, but unable to get there. Now Ferris back up with the dumbbell on his right shoulder.
Ooh.
Unable to.
That's twice in a row Ferris tried to get that 4th rep, but it doesn't count, and Kristiansen's going to tap out as well.
Both men get an ovation here after 3 reps. Well, you love to see the interaction between these fans and these athletes, and especially these 2 guys who just put everything on the line.
It's incredible, man. Taking a victory lap after giving everything you've got, especially when your heart's about to pump out of your chest. But these guys are really feeding off the crowd across the board. And they've got to feel good about what they've done so far, especially being as new to the sport as they are.
Ferris got his 3 reps in a time of 25:71.
He gave everything he had, but could not get that 4th rep, missing the lockout 2 times in a row.
With only a half a point separating them and an automatic berth into the final on the line, Canada's JF Caron and Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski will put it all on the table when we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Welcome back to Coquina Beach. 2 athletes are moments away from facing off for an automatic berth into the final. Our first pairing has already competed. Ferris and Kristiansen each got 3 reps, but Ferris did it in a faster time of 25.71.
Now, Brent, remember, the group leader after 4 events automatically qualifies for the final. which means there's a lot on the line for Kieliszkowski from Poland and for Canada's JF Caron.
Caron seeking his 7th final. Let's learn more about him in our Tachi Palace Power Profile.
JF Caron, Canada. It's my 9th World's Strongest Man appearance, and it will be my 7th final if I get it this year. But first I have to reach the final. This will be not easy, but you never know. And in history, I compete in more competition than everybody, just Zydrunas did more. I compete so many times with Zydrunas. And the best advice he give to me, if you want to be really good, you have to compete a lot. And I give the same advice to the athletes starting in the sport. You have to compete if you want to improve, because you have to learn how to compete. You know, training and competition is two different things. If you want to start in sport and growing, compete, that's it. But now, with that competition, the weight are heavier, it's maybe not possible for me to compete 20 times a year, like in the past. But I did it, and I'm still alive, you know?
Ready?
So it's Caron and Kieliszkowski. The winner of the overhead press will get the automatic berth to the final out of this group.
Look at Kieliszkowski. What he lacked in the deadlift, he more than makes up for with his pressing power. Look at that, essentially lapping Caron already with 3 reps, picking up, gets credit for his 4th before Caron even picks up the dumbbell to attempt his 3rd.
So Kieliszkowski is off and rolling now with 5, and both men take a little bit of a break. Caron has got 3. Is that it, or are they going to go for more? They seem to be discussing it.
Little playful competition here. Look at Caron's technique. Locks out, gets credit for that 4th. He's going to tap out, knowing that Kieliszkowski, as quickly as he got that 5th rep, that there was virtually no way that he was going to beat him as he makes a play for the 4th one, having some fun out there on stage.
So Kieliszkowski advances to the final, while Caron will have to stick around and compete in last man standing against Kevin Ferris for that 2nd spot into the world's strongest man final. The winner of the overhead press, Kieliszkowski, 5 reps in 25.81.
This is one of Kieliszkowski's best events. It's a combination of power, but also technique. Uses his legs to get it started, and he had the perfect combination to get the win in this event.
Kieliszkowski with his 3rd event win. Caron in 2nd with 4 reps. Ferris and Kristiansen each with 3. Ferris did it in a faster time. With that, Kieliszkowski qualifies for the final as the leader after 4 events. Caron is 2nd, Ferris 3rd, so they will compete in last man standing for that 2nd qualifying spot. With Poland's Kieliszkowski edging out JF Caron for the automatic berth into the final. Caron must now go up against Ferris in a last man standing battle. Who gets in? We'll see on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue.
The 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. And by Rogue. Don't weaken.
Welcome back to Anna Maria Island, where the 2 athletes from Group 4 have one last shot at the final.
Brent, the stakes are high in this one. This is a fun event because the athletes are going to be lifting an Atlas stone weighing a punishing 400 pounds over a 4.5-foot bar. There's a time limit of 20 seconds per attempt. The winner makes his way to the final. And here's how it went down.
Stones are a really good event for me. It's 20-second time limits. We have more time to put the stones over the bar. I think we can see big battle.
Representing Canada, JF Caron.
It should be a brutal event.
Kevin Ferris.
Stone over bar, I think I'll do fairly well in it. It'll be a good show. My stones are good.
Kevin made a mistake having too much tacky on. And in this heat, the stones get really, really slippery. It's like putting lube on.
In the scenario where third is unable to lift over to second, this will be rerun with fourth place taking in for third place. JF, can you retire to the tent? This will be rerun in a few minutes' time.
I was just sitting there, just chilling with my girl because I thought I was done. And I'm like, what? I gotta get my stuff.
Fourth place, please prepare.
The referee says it is in the rule, but the fourth place still not prepared.
I had to jog back, and when I got to the tent, I was ready to warm up. And Colin came and was like, are you ready to go now? Because we don't want JF to wait any longer. I didn't want him to wait any longer either, so I was like, let's go. Let's go, I'm warm, I'm warm.
Representing Norway, Kristiansen.
JF, it's just pure power.
Atlas Stone is a technical event, and it's why technique is very important. You know, the technique must come automatic. You just focus and destroy the stone.
I tried some stones at home. It's brutal, you know. It's not like regular equipment. It's not like a deadlift or something like that. It's just natural strength.
Qualifying for the 2019 World's Strongest Man Final, JF, Caron.
JF, he's a hard man to beat, you know. He's in the final, he deserves his spot. I'm honored to just lift stone head to head with him. That's brutal.
Hey, way to step up, way to step up.
That was cool. Albers came right up to me and like, that was cool, bro. I kind of earned some respect, I hope, from the big guys, and that's why I'm here. Just want to show what I'm capable of, and I want to come back next year and crush it, for sure.
JF, explain from your perspective what happened.
Because the first athlete don't lift the stones, we must fight another one. I was a little bit nervous, but most important when you compete is just stay focused, don't taking too much, and just destroy the events.
Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in the final.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to the final, Mateusz Kieliszkowski takes first. It'll be his fourth consecutive appearance. JF Caron takes second. It'll be his sixth consecutive appearance. Laurence Shahlaei, in his retirement year, ended the competition early with an injury. Next time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. With 2 spots remaining, it's Group 5's turn. Will the USA's Brian Shaw get to the final for a chance to win a record-tying 5th title? Will Great Britain veteran Mark Felix defy Father Time and will his way to the final? For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover. In association with Endeavor Content, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.